Hey, what is up, everybody? I'm here to give you my WWE NXT review for March 1st, 2017. And I know this video is going up extremely late. I actually did watch this episode. I believe like a few days after it came out. I just didn't get a chance to review it because I was busy with school and other things like that. So I'm just going to rewatch it and kind of, you know, do different takes after each match or segment and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get started with it. Okay, so before I actually review NXT, let me do like a little bit of a preview for it. Um, so let's talk about this recent episode of this episode of NXT. So we have a NXT Women's Championship match between NXT Women's Champion Asuka and Peyton Royce. We have Peyton Royce who won a triple threat number one contenders match to get this opportunity. And it's going to be interesting. Is Peyton Royce going to be the one to end the long reign of Asuka and be the first one to defeat her? Or is Asuka going to continue her dominant reign as NXT champion and continue her dominant reign in the NXT Women's Division? Going to be interesting to see what happens with that. And then we also have a NXT Tag Team Championship match between NXT Tag Team Champions The Authors of Pain and hashtag DIY. Um, Another match I'm interested in. It's a rematch from NXT TakeOver San Antonio when the Authors of Pain took the NXT Tag Team titles from hashtag DIY, and it's going to be interesting. Our hashtag DIY going to become the second team ever to become two-time NXT Tag Team Champions and the first team to defeat the Authors of Pain. Are the Authors of Pain going to continue the dominant reign as a tag team and continue the NXT Tag Team title run? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. And, whatever else happens in NXT, it's going to be interesting. So let's get started with the episode. Okay, so we had the actual show itself. We had Percy Watson, Tom Phillips, and Nigel McGuinness on commentary. And we had the first match. It was Patrick Clark versus Sean Maluda. This was an alright opening matchup. Patrick Clark's gimmick, I think he's supposed to be gay, but because of the way he acts, but I don't know what they're trying to get. I guess they're trying to say that he's like a very. I think they're trying. I think he's supposed to be safe, but they call him very fluential, very outgoing, being who he is. But I have a feeling that he's supposed to be gay. That's the vibe I'm getting from this gimmick, because he comes out with the bushy hair. He has his lips always perched or whatever you call it. Um, and he wears like the shirt. I think he's supposed to be a gay wrestler, which is kind of an odd gimmick, but whatever. Um, and Sean Maluda tries to shake his hand just like they do in the cruiserweight division, but Patrick Clark face palms him. So Sean Maluda hits a heel kick on him, hits a front face suplex and a shining wizard, but Patrick Clark kicks out of it. Then Patrick Clark pretty much dominates the rest of the matchup. Um, and he wins the match with a kind of like a famous into like a stomp to the head, I guess you call it. And covers him and gets the victory. And that was it. It was very interesting. I'm not like, a huge fan of Patrick Clark's character right now. The match though was, I thought, all right. But it's definitely interesting. I'm gonna have to wait and see what they do with this character. But I'm not digging it so far. I'm not that I have anything against gays, but the way this character goes about it is just really awkward. Okay, so next, Sanity cuts a promo outside, and this was a very good promo. I actually enjoyed it. They're cutting a promo outside, and they have like a fire lit. And it looks like it's like being filmed like outside in like a creepy like in like a bad neighborhood. Says they're supposed to be like criminals and everything. And Eric Young says, "What kind of a man?" Continues to have his downfall be his choices. Um, and then he brings his friends along down with him. And he says that Ty Dillinger is a disease that needs to be extinguished. So he said, "Let me be the one to extinguish it. Just me and him." Um, and then what's her name? Um, what's her name? I forget her name now off the top of my head. Um, Nikki Cross um, then says that if you don't, we will burn the whole world down, and then she spits in the fire. And I thought this was a great promo, and it really kind of makes Sanity look like a threat to be forced to be reckoned with, and I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so I apologize. I ended up falling asleep, so I didn't end up finishing the show, but I'm going to finish it now. So we had the next match. It was a NXT Women's Championship match. NXT Women's Champion Asuka versus Peyton Royce with Billie Kay ringside. This was actually a good, solid NXT Women's Championship match here. Both women just start chain grappling each other, and they both try to go for kicks on each other, but they both ended up either ducking or just stepping away from them. And then Asuka hits a hip attack on Peyton Royce, and then she lands on the apron, and then she hits it from the apron. Peyton Royce falls to the outside. Asuka tries to go after her. Peyton Royce bounces her shoulder right off the ring post, and she pretty much works over the shoulder of Asuka the entire match. But then eventually she starts getting too cocky and starts slapping Asuka around, and Asuka starts getting pissed. She hits a snap suplex on her, and Asuka starts to make a comeback. She hits a drop kick from the second turnbuckle. She goes off on her with a bunch of palm strikes. She hits a Shining Wizard. Peyton Royce kicks out, and then she goes for the Asuka lock, but no, she goes for the Shining Wizard again. Peyton Royce hits a roll up. Peyton Royce bounces her shoulder first off the rope. She goes for like a big boot. Asuka counters into a roll up. Peyton Royce kicks out. Peyton Royce rolls Asuka up. Asuka kicks out. Um, Peyton Royce goes for a suplex, but Asuka gets out of it. But then she hits a big boot. It hits a kick to the head right onto Asuka, and Asuka kicks out of that. Then Asuka acts like she's gonna get into the cross arm into the jumping cross arm breaker, but instead um she she inverts it into a I don't know if that's the right word for it, but um she gets her in the Asuka lock instead, and Peyton Royce ends up tapping out. But this was a good solid match. Peyton Royce actually showed a lot here because I always thought that she was okay, but she wasn't like as talented as Billie Kay was. But she definitely showed some talent here, um, and she showed that maybe it's someday she could become a future NXT Women's Champion. So that was nice. You know, he kept her looking strong and made Asuka look even stronger. The fact that she had to jump all through all these hoops to still beat her. But afterwards, Billie Kay gets in the win, and Peyton Royce and Billie Kay attack Asuka, beat the crap out of her. They throw her shoulder first into the steel post, and they're just gonna beat the crap out of Asuka some more. But then Ember Moon comes out to make the save, and she takes out Billie Kay on the outside. She takes out Peyton Royce with a crossbody, and she pretty much wipes out Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. And afterwards, she has a face-off with Asuka, and Asuka holds up the NXT Women's title, and then she leaves, and with her music playing. So now it shows like now it looks like they're gonna finally go in that direction. They're gonna finally do Ember Moon versus Asuka in a one-on-one match, which is a match that technically you could say has been building for months because it's not necessarily directly where they were directly going after each other, but they've had Ember Moon be a force to be reckoned with. Look like that she could be a future threat to Asuka for months, and you have Asuka who's been unstoppable. So I'm actually looking forward to this match, and I think this could be a really good, solid NXT Women's Title match, and I think eventually this is going to be the person. Because since Ember Moon's debuted, I said this could be this woman. This is going to be the woman that defeats Asuka and ends her undefeated streak, and it looks like that's what's going to happen. Um, it's Asuka's gonna it's gonna probably happen at NXT Takeover Orlando, and I'd be happy with that. Okay, next, William Regal's backstage, and he announces, because of what's been going on with the whole NXT Championship picture, that on the March 15th episode of NXT, which is on my birthday, which is tomorrow, Bobby Roode's going to defend his NXT Championship against Cassius Ohno. Um, I really don't know who to root for there, just because you have Bobby Roode, who just recently won the NXT Championship. And he's actually been a pretty good champion so far, and you can't have him just lose the title just like that. I just personally don't think that would make any sense. And you also have Cassius Ohno, who just returned to NXT, and you can't really have him lose his first match back because that's not really a good utilization for him either. So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens with that. So, but it should be interesting. It actually does make the match a little bit unpredictable, and I feel like since it is NXT, whoever does lose the match will come out looking good, and whoever wins the match will come out looking even better. So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. Okay, next, Paul Ellering and the Authors of Pain are backstage, and Paul Ellering yells that this is our house of pain and nobody else is going to take it from us. I thought it was a pretty good promo. A nice way to build up to the NXT Tag Title match, which is next. Okay, so next we had a video package for Wolfgang. Um, he's from the UK tournament. He's going to be joining NXT, and we found out that his dream was to get to WWE or to well, he says his dream was to be WWE champion or to at least work for WWE. And he said that he's worked at a pub for 10 years, and he says that his wrestling skills has come in handy to throw people out. And he says that he's going to do whatever it takes to whether he has to cheat or not. And that was it. But I think he's going to be a nice addition to the United Kingdom Championship Tournament division. I guess it's championship tournament. Sorry, he's gonna be a nice addition to the UK Championship division. Because I remember when he was in the tournament, I liked him. I thought he had good. He had some good solid matches in the tournament. So I kind of can't wait to see what he brings to the table. So yeah, that's what I think about it though. Like I said, because I've talked about it, if the guys from the UK tournament went to the main roster right now, they wouldn't get a reaction because they didn't even leave the UK. So it's kind of nice maybe to see how they get over in the NXT crowd first. But I mean, they still could struggle when they come out of the NXT, because not a lot of people who watch NXT watch Raw or SmackDown and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Okay, so next we have another Shinsuke Nakamura update, and they announced that Shinsuke Nakamura is going to be returning on the next episode of NXT, which was last week's, and which is actually nice. It's going to be nice to see him back. Um, and obviously, I expect him to have his chase to go back for the NXT title. So that does lead me to question who is going to win that NXT Championship match between Bobby Roode and Cassius Ohno. Um, because shortly behind him will be Shinsuke Nakamura. So I'm thinking maybe Bobby Roode will win because, I mean, Bobby Roode, it would make sense. Bobby Roode's the one that took out Shinsuke Nakamura. So why wouldn't he win? It wouldn't really make any sense. So it's gonna be interesting. So, but yeah, it'll be nice to see Shinsuke Nakamura back. So I can't wait to see him come back. Okay, so then we had the main event. It was a NXT Tag Team Championship match. NXT Tag Team Champions, The Authors of Pain with Paul Ellering versus hashtag DIY. I thought this was a really good NXT Tag Team Championship match. Probably not as good as the match at NXT Takeover San Antonio, but still a really good NXT Tag Team Championship match. Tommaso Ciampa tries to do a bunch of strikes onto Wazal, but Wazal, it's not affecting him. So then eventually hashtag DIY spear him through the ropes. They hit an Inseguri on Akam, and they drives him out of the ring. And then Tommaso Ciampa goes to hit a dive on Akam, and Akam catches him and just kind of like power bombs him a little bit into the steel post. So the rest of the match is the way a lot of the matches the Authors of Pain get in the heat on Tommaso Ciampa. They just really target his back. There was one spot where Tommaso Ciampa tries to fight back. He hits a bunch of slaps to the face onto Wazell, and eventually he just picks him up, and the Authors of Pain hit the sidewalk slam big boot combo, which I thought was nice. And they continuously dominate the matchup, and then eventually Tommaso Ciampa takes him out. Johnny Gargano gets the hot tag. He starts going off on Wazell. He keeps trying to knock him off his feet, but it's to no avail. Then he hits a suicide dive through the ropes onto Weizhou, and he hits a tilt-a-whirl dive onto actually he hit the suicide dive on Akam, and then he hit the tilt-a-whirl dive on Weizhou, and then he hits a springboard DDT on Akam, covers him, kicks out, and then hashtag DIY hit the Insuguri where hit the kick combo where Gargano hits an Insuguri, Tommaso Ciampa hits the big boot, and then he hits Tommaso Ciampa hits a running clothesline, a discus clothesline, covers him, kicks out, and then eventually Tommaso Ciampa goes for a power bomb out of the corner, and he can't hook the move. So Johnny Gargano comes in. He hits super kicks, Akam, and they hit the double power bomb onto Akam, and they go for the meet me in the middle, but Akam pulls him out of Tommaso Ciampa out of the wind, throws him into the steps, and they are about to finish off. And then Rezal hits a one-handed spine buster on Gargano, and they're gonna hit, and they cover him. He kicks out, and eventually they go for the double power bombs on him, and hashtag DIY counter. Gargano counters into the Gargano XL, and Tommaso Ciampa gets him into a crossface, and they both have him in. They all display this move at the same time. You think they're gonna tap out, but then the Revival run out, attack hashtag DIY, so they win the match by disqualification, but they don't win the championships because the title can't change hands by a count out or disqualification. And they attack hashtag DIY. They throw Johnny Gargano into the steel post, and then they hit the Shattered Machine on Tommaso Ciampa, and then the authors, and then Razor hits a double clothesline on the Revival. They go to hit the final chapter onto Dash, but Dawson pulls the rope down, sending Akam on the outside. And then they hit the Shattered Machine onto Razor, which was really impressive. And the Revival stand tall. And afterwards, Paul Ellering screams, "Authors of pain, your pain is just begin." No, sorry. The Revival, your pain is just beginning. So I like this here. I thought this was good. It seems like they're going to set up a triple threat tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championships, which I'd be down for. To see these three teams go at it. You have hashtag DIY and the Revival, who probably had who had the match of the year, voted at NXT Takeover Toronto, and then you have hashtag DIY and the Authors of Pain, who had really good tag team matches as well. And I mean, it makes sense to throw hashtag DIY in there because it seems like they wanted to. It wouldn't have worked to do a one-on-one match between the Revival and the Authors of Pain, considering the fact that they're both heels. So throwing in the babyface team makes sense, but we're gonna have to wait and see. They could swerve us and just do a number one contenders match between the Revival and hashtag DIY. So we're gonna have to wait and see. But overall, I thought this was a good segment. That it accomplished. The match was good, and I like the aftermath stuff. And the Revival came out looking strong on the show. So overall, I thought this was a really good episode of NXT. I thought it was really enjoyable. The NXT Women's Championship match was good. The NXT Tag Team Title match was good. Sanity's promo backstage was good. The announcement of the Bobby Roode Cassius Ohno match I thought was really well done. And Wolfgang's video package I like, and Sanity's promo backstage I liked. The only thing I really hated was Patrick Cloak on the show. The match, I didn't really hate his match as much with Sean Maluda. Just his character itself, I just don't really like. But that's only really one thing. But I can't really say this was a great episode because it wasn't like a great episode, but it was definitely an easy sit-through. One, it's only an hour, two. Plus two, it definitely flows very well. The only thing I really hate, like I said, is Patrick Cloak. So, if I had to rate NXT, I would rate it a 8.3 out of 10. And that's pretty much it, guys. Make sure to subscribe to my other YouTube channel, CM Brothers and Owen the Talkinator. Make sure to subscribe to this channel as well for other content. That's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.